What's happening, everybody? We are so excited to be here today. You are sitting here with four icon agents for EXP, and today we're going to dive into the magic button. We're sick of you guys having to do so much work the hard way. When we have a secret that's going to help you get it all done with zero effort and little daily tasks. We're sitting with Kelly McCarthy, icon agent, Amber Torres, and Ed Linzer, all killers in the real estate industry, selling tons of houses. And it wasn't that way for any of them until they found the magic button. We're going to talk about that today. I'm going to start off today telling you a story today, something that actually happened real live, lead to conversion to where it went to, and how the magic button that we use was able to take me from a $39,000 land sale into 3 possible listings and 3 agent opportunities. And it all comes from the magic button that we all press, and that is do the work. So today's story, I got a phone call today for a piece of land in the middle of nowhere, somewhere that I would never, ever be excited to drive to. It's a place with no cell service. It is a good hour and a half from me, and these people are so pumped up about buying this piece of land with not enough cash to purchase it. So they were going to need some financing, and all of you in the real estate industry, just what a dead-end lead that is. But I took that call, unlike this one that I'm going to silence right now, and I stayed on the phone with this person. I started to ask the questions that we tend to not ask when the lead sucks, right? Like, why? Why do you want to live out there? Do you have a home to sell? And I slowly uncovered the story that she has 3 agents in her family that all could use a little bit of help. They're not from around here. The land is just a getaway for the next year for a house that they have to sell because they want to move closer to their mother who's going to need to sell their house. So the magic button for us, for everyone on this panel, and it should be for every one of you, is to do the work. Right? It's always going to be that. It's not hard to do the work. It's just hard to make yourself get started. So today we're going to hear from 3-4 different perspectives of what's easy and what's not. And it's going to come in different ways. And I know that this is going to help one person, and we're so excited about that. And that's why we love this company, is the collaboration and being able to share what helped us to get there. And you're going to get some ideas from 3 or all of us, 4 different people that do it in different ways, but the one thing we all have in common is doing the work every single day. Not a lot. We still find time to sit on the couch and put off the things that we don't want to do, just like all of you, but we do a lot less of it, and it's a lot more structured, and it's helping us to get to where we are. And if we can help one of you today get to icon status, which for those of you that might be watching that don't know what that is, that's where you get your cap back in the form of stock. So as essentially zeroing out your cost for working for the baddest company on the planet. We're going to tell you how to do that today. And I'm going to start today with Ed Linzer. Ed is probably, I guess, Ed, you're the youngest realtor, not by age. My man got older the other day. But as far as, years in, it didn't take him very long, like it takes most of us to get the wheels turning. And Ed has always been a firm believer of do the work. It's one thing that he nailed right out the gate. And Ed, what's your take on magic buttons? Have you tried any of them before? Looking for the shortcut, throw a few dollars at something, and has it worked out as well as not doing the work?
Oh, I mean, at this point I've tried a lot of different things. I encourage everybody to just do the legwork rather than, every new agent wants to put an ad on Zillow or Realtor or whatever and thinks that they're going to just get leads pouring in. Somebody's going to call them. They go show them 2 or 3 houses and write an offer and get into escrow. It just does not work like that. We got brand new agents in the office. We've got a couple of them that have been in there for, less than 6 months, and they're already asking me about it. No, this is a business. You're building your business. You don't build a business. You ask anybody that owns a business. They didn't just open the doors, throw a sign on the door, and then kick back and take weekends and evenings off and have their business grow. It just does not work like that. You've got to be willing to be intentional and do what I would tell them, do what other agents are not willing to do.
Oh,
most agents are not willing to take that extra step. Like you said, a land deal. Somebody calls you on land way the heck out there. More often than not, nobody's even going to ask them a question. They're just going to tell them, go take a look at it and let me know what you think. I mean, that's the reality of it. But just by initiating that conversation and finding out the whys and, hows and everything else, that could lead into who knows how many deals and agents. So for me, it's just about being intentional about what you're doing and just taking that step or two to be proactive and find what's out there. It's everywhere. It's all over the place out there. Just most people aren't looking for it.
That's what I love about that right there. It's out there. No matter what's going on in the economy or anything else, the clients that need to buy and sell, they're still out there. The agents that don't know the opportunity, they're still out there. Like it's easy to dismiss it and put that kind of work off. But if you stay focused on what you need and what the goals are, there's really, it's popping up like if you're looking at we bought a chicken coop, and I was telling Kelly, like, what is wrong with the world? Everybody's buying freaking chickens right now. You can't even get the stuff you need. And Kelly's like, well, it's because you're focused on it. Oh yeah. So whatever you're focused on, you're going to start bringing into your life. And I know that being intentional, like you said, is such an important thing to pick up. It's easy to pass over the importance of it, but constantly focusing, like how we roll. We write down our goals. They stay in front of us. If I brush my teeth, that goal list is sitting right next to me. When I go to bed, that goal list is sitting right next to me. I can't help. We have a whiteboard the size of Mount Rushmore in our living room. It's an eyesore, but it's there for us to look at. And I don't think anybody is as intentional or structured. It's been important, and probably because of your upbringing, though, Amber, you really have found ways to back the daily routine with systems and process and stuff. And if you would, can you kind of share with us what that looks like and how that's helped you get to the Icon status?
Yeah, sure. I need to get a large whiteboard. I have to say that I really just started intentionally writing my goals down a few years ago, and I put them up and in my face. And that is the biggest change ever. I mean, just putting what you want in your face every day. There's no way you can ignore it, right? But yeah, so my big thing with doing the work is I always feel comfortable kind of making sure systems are in place. So when I talk to new agents and they're like, where do you start? What do I do? Make sure that your Zillow information is up to date and that people can reach you. There are so many top agents in our area that their Zillow page is like non-existent. Their solds are not even there. I mean, they aren't. They don't. Every time I close a property, I go onto Zillow and make sure it's sold there. And then making sure your realtor is up to date. Searching your name on the web, seeing what comes up when your name is there, and trying to figure out platforms to get your name higher on those lists. And then, there's all those connections are out there for you to figure that out. And that doesn't necessarily cost money. You have a visitor, Ed.
Poor Ed.
And then for me too, aside from just making sure that all my platforms are kind of in place, I try to put eggs in different baskets. I try to do a little bit of advertising, doing some marketing, seeing how that really, if it brings any return on my investment, whether it's postcards, whether it's farming certain areas, whether it's putting up billboards, just being, especially, in lulls of the market or when we're going through shifts, I always try to make sure that I'm a point of contact for people, that it's not just about real estate, but just being a person that's there for them if they have questions. Whether, I got a call yesterday about refinancing. Of course, I'm going to help someone, making those connections and relationships with people in your community and being in their face, being in their forefront, being involved with different committees or nonprofits or doing philanthropy work, just being in people's space and being a part of other spheres that you weren't necessarily a part of, I think is so important. We can sit at home in our office and be on social media all day and try to do advertising that way. But making those connections with people and just building those relationships in your community is what's going to make those lasting, loyal relationships, that you're going to continuously have that revolving just business from those people that enjoy working with you and you're involved in the community that you live in. I think is so important too. So
I love that you focus on like what's really super important to, and I think it's very overlooked in our industry, is the lifetime value of a client. It doesn't matter what they're looking for today, the 39,000 piece or the refi or whatever it is. What you have is people in your sphere and in your town that need your expert advice. And if you follow through with that and take care of those people, like, of course, they're going to be the person that they tell about you. And nothing grows a business faster than word of mouth.
For sure.
Yep.
And there's always those people too that it's always like, oh, well, I love you. You were amazing. But that agent was just there. They were just in front of me. Right. So I just went with that. So if you're not out and about and you're not walking the streets and hitting the pavement and going to local stores and talking to people and talking about real estate, then you will be not forgotten, but you have to be active with where you work. So I think that's so important.
And I want to go back to this in a second, but I've got so many nuggets out of that. Ed and myself, we can really shed some light on that, talking about out in public and opening your eyes to opportunity. But you said something in there that we have to touch on, and I think it's the magic button that most agents believe when they're new is real, and that's the social media. And they spend their time getting lost in there. And if you see me on social media, I am so active, but it's intent. There's more intent behind it. I'm going through and I'm trying to engage with people, hoping that they reciprocate and engage back, so that I can increase the I don't know what this is called. Kelly does. I'm going to bring her in a second to talk about it. But if there's a lot of engagement quickly in our post and our stuff, then the algorithm seems to like that more for Facebook, and it can get in front of more eyeballs cheaper. But Kelly has mastered the magic button of marketing and social media, and she's made it look so easy that even within our own office, agents, they want to think that, okay, well, Kelly's crushing it on social media, and all I got to do is put some post about what do you like better, this kitchen or that kitchen. Do you want a home value? Do you want a home value? Do you want a home value? There's so much that goes into it. And Kelly, can you tell us how easy it is and how little work you have to put into marketing?
Definitely not easy. But yeah, you're right. A lot of people do think it's easy, and they'll get a call and just be like, how do I get clients from Facebook? And I just post this or that. What should I put? How often should I do it? It's like, it's not like that. That's not really, we don't just get a bunch of people lining up to sell their house with us from Facebook. It's like more of a secondary, what do you call it? It's just a confirmation that they've made the right choice is why you have your Facebook and your marketing. And, it does remind your sphere about you, which is good, but you're not going to, at least not in our experience, do we get just random people reaching out from our Facebook that we don't already know. It's usually somebody who's reached out to us or found us somewhere else, and then they go to our Facebook page for confirmation that we're real and legitimate. And then they say, oh, these people do actually sell a lot of houses. I made the right choice. Or, it's more like that, where people think that we do marketing just to reel in people. And it's just, that type of marketing, Facebook and stuff, just to reel in people. And it's just not really the way that it works. It can, but that costs money, and, it just takes more money and time and things like that. So it's not why we do most.
It subconsciously reiterates your success to people.
Right.
Like that car that they're looking for, right? And they're like, it's now the car's everywhere, like we talked about.
Yep.
Right.
So, yeah. You do a great job.
Yeah, it reminds the people that you already know what you do and that you're good at it more than anything. Now, if it's a particular property, then that's different. But these agents that are new, they don't understand that part of it. They think if it's a particular property, you do reach more people that way, and you get more random people coming in. But as far as the day-to-day marketing, it's for confirmation that they've made the right decisions in choosing you and reminding people about you.
And social media for you is an accident whenever you get some time, or is it intentional and you're strategically trying to place out ads and market properties and brand us?
Yeah, like we focus on times and we do a lot of different testing to see what works better. Like if I do an ad with the inside picture versus an outside picture, then I will go to the algorithms in the back end and kind of see what is working and what isn't working and cut one of them off so that it's not lagging, bringing down the other stuff, the other ads and stuff. So, there's a lot to it. Demographic wise, we've kind of been cut off from Facebook, so we can't really do that. We used to be really good at doing the demographics and getting it in front of the right people. But with everything that Facebook has changed for that, we can't really do that much anymore.
So what would you suggest somebody, so they're new, obviously like this is your lane. So I'm going to speak to it and then I'll let you jump to it. But when I see people using the same ad, like there's companies out there and I'll see everybody with the same, 4-box picture and it says, would you choose this house or this house or this house? And to me, like, it's just noise on the internet. I don't see the engagement on it, or anything else. So for somebody new, what would you suggest that they do if they want to do that? Like, and I'm not talking about, like, I think we all agree you shouldn't be dumping a bunch of money into Facebook, for lead generation right out the gate.
Right.
Not that you can, like, obviously people have built massive businesses off the back of that. But at first, like, I personally believe you should be tapping into your sphere, the people that working those transactions that come with little cost until you start generating some revenue and then peeling off a portion of that to invest in your brand and your ads and everything else. Would you guys all agree with that?
Mm-hmm.
Yeah. And I mean, Facebook is really cheap for ads, so it's a good place to start. But like you see a lot of agents use those free services that post for them, which should be really a last resort. Like you should be putting out your own marketing. Those ads, those free companies that do those, they do them for a bunch of realtors. So I'll see like a whole bunch of realtors have the same exact post. And then when people are scrolling and they see all their realtor friends have the same post, they know it's fake. They know it's not them. So like they're starting to think, are these people even legitimate? Because everybody's posting the same thing. They're obviously copying it from each other. When you put out your brand and you put out something intentional that's from you, it's more authentic and they know that. People aren't stupid. Like they can just see that everybody's posting the same thing. So honestly, like I think you should only do that as a last resort. If you don't know how to work it or you don't know what to do, then maybe. But honestly, I don't think it's a good idea just putting out those generic things.
Agreed. And then I wanted to get back to this before we got too far from it. So I think we've eliminated social media as a magic button. It takes work just like anything else. It takes being intentional. It takes engaging with others so that they will engage with you. But that's something that me and Ed could add a little value to is looking for opportunity out and having conversations. I think a lot of getting started has to do with how many conversations you have. And Ed and I used to play a game where I'd be in the grocery store and I would try to get the person in front of me in line or behind me in line to bring up real estate. And it was a fun game for me. I totally enjoyed it. And it was so easy to do, but it was a way to get in front of somebody and then bring it up. And, oh, guess what? I happen to be in real estate too. And you've now met somebody, they're now getting your business card and you have conversations about what their future plans are. And Ed, and I've done this too, you do it a different way. You're looking for something particular when you drive through a neighborhood, right?
Me? I'm looking for anything. I'm looking for landscape construction, any kind of painting, working, any kind of work on it, or even honestly, I mean, you can talk to anybody. Any of us can talk to anyone. You can pull over and talk to the guy that's mowing his lawn. He's out there mowing his lawn. He'd be more than happy to turn that lawnmower off and talk to you. Man, your yard looks great, yada, yada. I'm in real estate, I sell real estate for a living. And I tell you what, it's so nice to pull up to somebody and they take good care of their yard like this and da, da, da. The first thing he's going to say is, oh, you're a realtor? Oh, I didn't know that. Oh, that's great. Blah, blah. How's the market right now? Then he's going to immediately start asking you questions. I mean, I know that you have had similar situations, probably all of us, but to initiate that, it is nothing. It is literally, it can be done anywhere, anytime. and nobody does it. Very, very few people will do it.
Don't you feel good after you've had that conversation? Not only do you feel like it's got you back focused on real estate, but you've just had a good conversation with another human being and met another person that you didn't know before. I always feel great after I do that. You know, I always do. Now, Kelly, when you get a chance in a second, you got some comments coming in. And then I was going to say too, in being intentional about conversations, I think it's hard, or people think it's hard when they're new in an area. So I'm going to ask each of you guys this question. It's one of my favorite questions of all time on panels. And so I'm going to put you guys on the spot a little bit, and it'll be a little awkward, but I think that people will get so much value out of this. It just always works that way. So I'm going to pick the person that looks the most terrified out of the three of you. And what I'm going to ask is if right now somebody came, picked you up, dropped you off in, we're going to say Dallas, Texas, because Dallas is beautiful. I love it. And you had known nobody. Your financial resources are limited. You don't have very much money, and you're going to start and you're going to build a real estate business. Now, I'm intentionally asking this question slow so you guys can start thinking about it. It's the best I can do for you. Otherwise, you just don't eat to the wolves. But what would you advise new agents to do in that situation? So you're limited on funds. You're in a new area. You don't know anybody. And this is people that are brand new in real estate in this situation. They tend to lean on this as an excuse and they tell themselves it's okay because they don't know anybody. They don't have those things. And it's not true because you can do some things. So Kelly, what would you tell them to do first?
I'm going to find the neighborhood in that area that has a high turnover rate, and I'm going to target that area like a farm. I'm going to pick up the open houses that other agents have there. I'm going to, call them, ask them to do their open houses. I'm going to do door knocking. I'm going to do marketing in that area, do events and things like that, and focus on an area with high turnover. And
oh yeah, everybody's going to see your signs that way. You're going to immediately have some things to work in, and people are happy to share their open houses with people. So I absolutely love that.
Yeah, they don't want to work every weekend. So
heck no, they don't need to. They already got signs in the yard. You're the new one, right? So, and then Amber, what do you think? What would be your best advice to a brand new agent in a new area? They don't know anybody. They don't have money.
Kelly had a great start, but I would also add to that, for the agents that are already top producers and working really hard, I would probably make contacts with them too. I mean, we're pretty busy. We don't have time to call every lead. I've given new agents hundreds of my leads and said, here you go. Here's a list of all my online website leads. Like, they're yours. Knock it out. Do they call them? No. Yeah. It's like the opportunity is there. These large agents that are high producers are paying hundreds, if not thousands of dollars for all their online platforms to bring in leads, and they don't always necessarily have the time. So start off by maybe being a buyer's agent and, working those leads. They lead to then listings. And, aside from that, I would probably walk the streets, talk to people downtown, making connections with just humans and, people that are working and, just making conversation. But I think I would probably go to a couple top producers to see what kind of, scraps I could take off of their meat and kind of work those angles.
Guaranteed work. And there's something interesting about that as like, if I was a new agent and I was watching this, I'd be like, oh yeah, they're going to give me leads. Sure.
They do.
But I'm looking at this group in front of me on the screen right now, and I know every person on here is giving away leads because they didn't have time. And who would think that's such a neat thing to say? Because who would think to go ask them, hey, I'm new, I need some help, and I don't like just right here. I know every person here would, as busy as they are, stop what they're doing and give them advice. Probably have some leads for them, and probably have a way to go get business today, right now, if they want to do the work, right? So that's really good, and I think people are going to overlook that and maybe even think that it's not true, But I just know, and I think about all people.
I was just going to say, it makes them uncomfortable, and people don't like being uncomfortable, and having to go ask for something is an uncomfortable subject. So they'd rather just tell themselves that's not going to work. I'm not going to do it because that's safe.
Yeah, it is. And staying comfortable will get you exactly where you are. That's a really good point. Really good point.
I have a correction. I wouldn't go to just a top producer. I would go to a top producing EXP agent because they would definitely be more willing to help you.
It's so weird. Yeah, the way this has been set up, like you do not turn agents down. You need some help?
No, come to us. We will help you.
But that's the environment that we have. Like, I can call, some of these Jay Kinder, Cliff Freeman, these people that should never in a million years talk to me, and they will answer my call and they will give me advice. It's just it's so neat what we have here. And I think the more and more people that find out about that, it's just going to get better and better. And then, Ed, what would you do?
I would do right along the lines that Kelly was talking about. One little thing that I found that is a huge help that people just don't take the time to do, and it's not all that likely. But when you're going on your door knocking or you're door knocking around open houses, I liked to take flyers with me of recently sold stuff. And you would have that info with you, and you could talk to them. And people love to look at a real estate flyer. I mean, tell me you've met more than a handful of people that don't want to see what a house in their neighborhood actually sold for, and then give them a little bit of info that you're able to provide that they probably don't know. I love to name drop, and I love to tell them about a closing cost credit or something like that they're probably not going to see on there. Well, the seller's actually got this much for the house because they did end up having to give this much credit, blah, blah, blah. These are the Johnsons. They live right around the corner over here, yada, yada, yada. And when you have names and you have info that they're not going to find on that flyer, they look at you like, damn, this guy knows everything. That is exactly what happens every time.
100%. You positioned yourself as the expert, and you provided them with the information that they can't pull off of Zillow. And most people don't know that, most agents, because they haven't done the research prior to. So there's a lot of gold nuggets in there right there. I love that. This whole conversation has been awesome. I love talking to you guys. I wish we got together more, but I guess we're doing it intentional today. Everything that I would do is pretty much covered in there except for one thing, and I need partnership. So I'm fortunate enough to have Kelly, who is the strongest implementer on the planet, and our partnership is so solid. But I would be looking for somebody else that kind of is the yin to my yang, that doesn't have, has a different set of skill sets than I have. And I'd be looking to, maybe there's an experienced agent that's really good at that paperwork and being organized, because I'm like all day long everywhere. So
you're like,
what?
How are you like?
I'll show you one more time, but can you do slow motion? Yeah, I'm so scared. I can start projects all day long, and they're brilliant and they're great and they're exciting, and I'm so passionate about it. But when it comes to finishing, I'm not so good. So I'd be looking for somebody that might have a little bit of experience that I might be able to increase their value and they're going to bring to mine, and maybe form some kind of partnership where we can grab some momentum together. But I loved everything that everybody said in here. We still haven't found an easy button, so we're going to have to dig a little bit deeper, a little bit harder. So if there was an easy button in your business, I want to ask each of you, what is the easiest way you could go get business today? Instead of picking on you guys first, I'll give you guys time to think about it. I've got a go-to message that I ask new agents to do all the time. And I don't know why it works, but it has worked for everybody. Ed, the first time Ed did it, I gave it to Kelly, you'll have to tell me, but I think it was like 16 people and everybody got at least one buyer. We got 4 listings out of it. Ed actually sent it out to, it must have been 100 people or something. I think I sent it out to like 10 or 20, but.
Yeah, nobody told me that it was like,
I know.
At least 10 people or whatever. I didn't hear a number in there, so I sent it out. It was close to like 200.
Because Ed does the work. Ed does the work. You know what I mean? My bad. I should have told you that, we didn't send it out to every person in the phone book, but you crushed it anyway. So, but I'm going to tell you guys what that is. And maybe we'll type it in the, okay, Beth, I got to go to a question real fast. And then I'm going to tell you guys the secret. So just hang on there real fast. Beth says, how do you find out if a neighborhood has restrictions on door knocking? And this is a popular one that comes up. and it's actually illegal some places, and you need to get a license. So that is an important one to touch on. And then Scott McLaren said, smash it. And I love Scott, and we are going to smash it at some point here. We're going to find that easy button and we're going to smash it. But so the how do you find out if neighborhoods have restrictions on door knocking? Does anybody remember who you have to call? Is it just the city, and the city has their ordinances or something like that, or maybe a county if you're in the country? Don't knock in the country because you're liable to get shot, you know. But if you're going to the subdivisions and stuff, some places in here locally, one of the towns, it's like a $600 license. So you're going to have to decide whether or not it's worth it for you on that. But definitely always find out if there is a rule on that. You can ask your broker would be a good one to go to, your team lead. But if not, the city should be able to answer that for you.
And the rule is against solicitation. So if you can get around the solicitation part and not necessarily try to sell them anything, but introduce yourself, then I think you're kind of okay in that regard. You just can't be like, hey, you know, do you want to buy or sell a house? Who's going to do that anyways? So
yeah, and I don't think somebody would. That's a good point.
Need to be careful and find out, you know, from the city what you can do.
Yep. So here is my easy button for you guys. I send this through Facebook Messenger, and the message is this, and maybe we can get it typed in the comments too, so that you don't have to take a picture or anything or record this. But I send out this message individually. You know, hey Bob, if you knew somebody that was thinking about buying or selling a home, would you give them my information? ? Now that sounds stupid. I don't know why it works, but it reminds people or something. And the conversations I have with that are so good. You know, hearing people say, oh yeah, man, of course I would. I love you guys. I see you guys, you know, doing so good. I see you guys selling all the houses and stuff. Of course I would think of you. Other ones say, funny you should ask. I happen to be selling my rental properties. Funny you should ask. I happen to be downsizing after graduation. You know, so it's just a good reminder that you are there to help them when they need to buy or sell. So that I'm going to try that with something else, and I'll talk to you guys about it later. But so does somebody else have what would be your number one go-to easiest thing that you could do for everybody watching to go get a buyer or seller today? How about?
I pretty much was going to go along those same lines. Just sending a Facebook message with intention, right? With a question that's easy and isn't putting them on the spot, but it is requesting feedback from them, you know? So I would do that through Facebook, through text message. I've even left a few voicemails. I mean, you know, just touching base. Is there any, now that we're going, I mean, right now we're kind of going through this COVID pandemic, and it's like, touching base with people to see if they need anything. Is there anything I can help you with? You know, I know you may not be interested in buying or selling right now, but can I give you any tips on home maintenance, or is it's springtime, or, you know, there's just a lot of stuff that you can offer people assistance or help that isn't necessarily a direct question of, do you want to buy a house? So just making those calls and putting out those messages and making sure they have intention with what you want back from them. Yes. Love it.
Yep. And Kelly, I kind of stole, me and Kelly work together. So, and it's weird calling you Kelly instead of like hun or babe or something. Trying to be professional. But you have something else, another easy way that they might be able to get business today?
We really like the letter. We tell all our new agents to come on to write this story letter. I think we've done it for years now. We got a bunch of lists. When we first sent it out, it was super uncomfortable. We had a marketing company at the time, and they're like, you need to write a letter about yourself and why you got into real estate and everything. And we're like, and you know, like ask people for support in your business. And we're like, no,
we're not that cool. No.
So we did it, and there was like pictures of us and stuff, and a little story of our lives and how we got into real estate. And we, you know, we hope you'll support our business and all that stuff. And people were calling us like, oh my gosh, we got your letter. And people love mail these days because people don't get letters anymore in the mail. So they would get it, and it's like we didn't fold it. It came in a big long envelope. So you take it out and it's like open, right? And they just called us. They loved it. We got so much business off of that and everything. And that's what we kind of teach our new agents coming in, because like it's uncomfortable, but at the same time, you're not standing in front of them asking them for your business. You're mailing them a letter about yourself. And it's stuff like they would call us and be like, I had no idea about this, you know, and I've known you forever, or, you know, we do know somebody and congratulations and all these things. So that really was awesome.
That one worked really good, and it was uncomfortable, but the feedback was so good, man. It was so neat, all the responses we got from it, and who knew people still open their mail without throwing it away? It was amazing.
And then, did you do that to a specific area or farm, or your personal sphere?
No, it was our sphere. We had to do at least 250 addresses, so we had to come up with like 250 people, which was actually a little bit of a struggle. Because you want them to be local. You don't necessarily want to mail to family out of state, because that's not going to help you so much. So it was kind of hard finding people, that many people at that time. I mean, now it would be a lot easier because our sphere is really big. But at the time, you know, we didn't really know a whole lot of people. So, but, you know, the more you mail out, the better. But yeah, it was to our local sphere mostly. But people loved it.
Yeah, it was awesome. And just for the record, I had no problem writing that. I loved writing it. It was super fun. But the sphere is big now, and it wasn't. I want to come back to that too, because that's important. Ed, I forgot the subject. What we're even? Oh yeah, the easy. You know, like what's something easy? And you've got some. Well, none of it's easy, but you got to do the work. But what would be your go-to?
Hands down, the easiest thing is that message.
Yeah,
that is like it. It was the most reliable thing to get whoever was willing to send it. And I don't know how you're not willing to send it. Get some more. I mean, just flat out. I cannot believe if you come to me and you tell me you want to be a realtor and you want to sell houses, and then you tell me you can't send off a Facebook message to somebody that you already know, just asking them if they'll give you a shot or an interview, or you're not asking them for their business or a commitment right there. If you can't just send out a real bland, easy message like that because you're uncomfortable, then I can't help you.
But goodness, have we not met some?
Yes,
Like,
that's crazy to me.
Yep. You let me know where you find success being the secret agent, where nobody knows and you don't ask and you don't talk to anybody. Like there's a few things that you got to do. We got to do.
Stevie, mention how you send it individually and not as a group, because we had somebody accidentally send it as a group, and that was a nightmare. So make sure that you send it individually. You're not like group spamming people. Like you're dedicating certain people that you know well, and you're asking. We're not like spamming groups or anything like that.
Yeah, no, it is definitely. And I should have been more clear. I should have said, hey, buyer or seller, when I said, hey, Bob. But it definitely has to be somewhat, it has to be done individually. I guess you don't have to put their name in there, but I like the name in there. You know, hey, Bob. It tells them that I'm sending this message only to you. And really, if nothing else, you're going to get so many Well, first of all, it's like, as far in my head, it's guaranteed. Like you're going to get business out of it just because that's what the numbers show. And it's awesome that it works. I don't know why it does, but if you will do that and I'll be clear on this too, so you don't have to go through with what Ed did. Do like 10 a day. Make it a part of your morning. You know, Ed took 23 hours and he did it straight individually through his whole entire phone book, but he got the business. Awesome.
I mean, my phone was
blown up.
Terrible. But I wanted work and I got work. So
there you go. Yep, that's awesome. And then I want to go.
We have somebody else who asked, same with flyers on doorknobs. And I don't think that the door knocking applies. The door knocking rules apply to like putting flyers on the doorstep or whatever. So I think that you're good there, but you might want to talk to your city and find out for sure.
Yeah, definitely. And thanks for asking. And then it says, whoever wrote that, it says on my end, it says Facebook user. So I'm not trying to be rude and not address you. With StreamYard, I think you have to allow permissions for us to see you in the comments. So,
and it might be something that we're friends with or something. It shows Facebook user on my end too.
Sure, but we're glad you joined us anyways. We hope to get to know you later on. This has been super, super fun. Does anybody have a magic button, or is it always going to be just do the work?
Do the work.
I think it's going to be do the work, right? It
always makes me laugh when people say they want to be real estate agents because they want the freedom.
Oh my God.
Oh, I love that one.
No, you might as well just go get a job, a W-2, and work 40 hours because you're going to be working a lot more than that
Yeah.
if you want to sell a lot of real estate. So
stupid HGTV. How many people have come into the office with a new license and say, well, I just need the freedom. I have kids and stuff like that. I say, go talk to my 5-year-old about how free we are. Like his office is in my office. Like we work all the freaking time. Like there is people, Curtis Johnson, I believe, and I shouldn't say Curtis because I'm not positive it's him, but has like structured where he's off at a certain type of day, like or time of day and stuff like that, you know? So I think with the right systems and processes, we'll get there someday.
Yeah.
But I'm not there. We've been doing this 8 years and the phone calls start early. I'm talking to agents at 12:30 and 1 at night, you know. My goodness.
Yeah,
There's
well,
opportunities to
you
get
get to a
freedom.
point where that can happen, but you're not going to come in as a new agent. Like, I don't want them to think you come in and you have freedom because you can, but you're not going to do anything. So.
Yep. You're not going
I think that comes with time, right? And then you get to eventually get to a place where maybe you decide what your time, maybe we can do another segment into time management, but, you know, with structuring your day and what's important. And maybe you don't necessarily have to take that call at 11 o'clock at night when you're on year 8.
Right.
But, you know, I think you get to a point where you can structure that.
Right.
But in the beginning,
Yep.
pound and pavement.
It's a lot of hustle and a lot of work. And, but yeah, well, if anyone has anything to close with, I'm always excited to sit here with you three. I love these conversations. And I know that we are going to be able to help at least one person here watching today, the one that's out there that's actually willing to do the work and says, you know what, forget it. I'm going to stop screwing around. I'm going to put in the effort. I'm going to do the little things. And I hope they start with the dang message that we told them. It's like easy. Just do it. Get a buyer or seller. You're welcome. You know? Okay. Awesome. Well, it was great seeing you guys. I don't know if we're jumping on again. I think we have another one that we have to do, right? Maybe. But if not, until we see you guys next time.
Bye.
Bye.
Bye, guys.
Bye.